Hello, welcome to cooking number 2. I'm actually going to find myself on here so that I can share it, and then it means I can see if anyone's writing anything down underneath. Right, where am I? Share. Fantastic. Okay, now it means that I can see if anyone writes any comments or any questions or anything like that. I can keep my phone here by me. So, I'm actually going to find myself on here. Gosh, don't you hate hearing your own voice? Ugh, not very nice. So basically the plan of action is this. We had a whole load of fruit and veg and salad and that kind of thing to put out on the wall today. And I wanted to show you what you can do with a whole random mix of stuff. You can do several meals out of this one idea. So listen up carefully. Now I actually put this on half an hour ago, so you'll notice it's bubbling away, only because it takes a while to cook and I figured you don't want to stand there just listening to me rambling on for half an hour. So what I'm doing is your basic idea for a veg soup. You'll have to excuse the noise of my kids. We've just finished homeschool for the morning. So what have I put in here? I put in 5 small sweet potatoes. You just pull off these really wibbly wobbly bits, peel them, and then get them in. If you have a blender, you don't have to peel every vegetable. If you don't have a blender, I'd suggest you peel it just because it's easier, because the skin's always a bit tougher. But all your nutrients are actually in the skin, so you want to keep them in there if you can. So I peeled these, chopped them, and then pop them in there. I've chopped them quite small little pieces because it cooks quicker. I then put, what did I put? 1 large, this is an old, slightly soggy potato, not good for roasting, not particularly great for mashing, but it'll grow in soup brilliantly. So this one, actually I just scrubbed, chopped, and put it straight in there. I put in, this came with a food bank, needs eating today. So it's a pack of cabbage and leek. You could have used celery, you could have used, if there was just cabbage there, spinach would have been fine. Literally it's the bits and bobs you find on the wall outside. It all chucks in to make a great thing. So today I've put in a bag of carrots, cabbage and leek. I did put in carrots, I put 4 carrots in. These I didn't peel, I just scrubbed them, chopped them nice and small and popped them in. What else did I put in there? I had a random tomato floating in my fridge, so I chopped up my random tomato and I put it in there. But you might want to get a can, again from the food bank, of just chopped tomatoes. Really good in soups and stews and that kind of thing. And I wanted an onion, but I didn't have an onion. But the food bank outside the front had spring onions. In fact, we had thousands of them. So I literally just got some of these, chopped them up, chucked it in, poured over some boiling water, and I added my salt then, because I wanted the veg to be able to soak it all up. And I've just been cooking it for about 25 minutes, literally bubbling away. I'm going to open it up so you can see what it looks like. But here we have what looks like the beginnings, I don't know if you can see it very well, of a gorgeous stew. Now I'm calling it soup because we're going to have it for lunch today. But this is the same principles you'd have if you wanted to make a stew in the evening. You could pop it on in the morning, leave it on low heat in your cooker, pull it out in the evening. Do you know the only thing I'd add to this is some chicken if you've got it, or some sausages if you've got sausages in the freezer. You could put some beef in there. You could get really inventive if you wanted to, but just chuck in, if you like it, a little bit of meat, and it will make an amazing casserole for the evenings. So you've got several meals you could do with this. You can make a casserole, you could make a soup like I'm doing for lunch. You could make this as something to go with, you know, some rice or something like that. Literally just keep it veg and rice. Super healthy, super gorgeous, loads of flavour. You could boil some chicken in here and it'd be absolutely lovely. Or, you know, any kind of meat you've got. So what am I going to add to it now to make this work? Funnily enough, somebody put a fantastic point on yesterday's video. They were saying, what do you do if you've got no cooker? Let's say you're staying in a hostel or something like that and all you've got is a microwave. What would you do? You could cook this in your microwave. What you would need is obviously non-metallic bowl or jar or something like that to chop your veggies. You'd want to chop your veg really tiny. Excuse the doorbell, they'll sort it. You want to chop your veg really tiny. Boil a kettle and pour your boiling water over your veg and then put it in the microwave, and you'll just have to keep going for 5 minutes, stir it, check it, 5 more minutes, stir it, check it, until your vegetables feel like this. You get yourself a fork and you try and spike one, and it should just fall off. When your veg falls off, particularly your potatoes, you know it's ready, and then all you need to do is add the flavour and mash it. If you've got no blender, that's fine, use a potato masher. If you've got no potato masher, that's fine, use a fork. Honestly, this stuff just mashes. It takes a bit longer, but it mashes super easy with my fork here. It's just squishing away beautifully, and if I worked at it long enough, I'd have a really nice texture for a soup. Obviously, if it's a casserole, you don't need to mash anything, but you can do it at home in a microwave. Isn't that cool if you needed to? So what am I going to add now? I've been writing myself down some ideas. So, because I like my cooking a little bit salty, I generally will add a bit at the beginning, add a bit afterwards. Love a bit of pepper, so I'm going to add my pepper in here as well. Like I said yesterday, I use a lot of pepper. A staple for your kitchen that is less than £1 in Aldi. This one is a huge pot that I've just filled with loads of them. Garlic granules. Get yourself some garlic granules. Get yourself down to Aldi. Get some garlic granules. Garlic granules honestly make a massive difference between something being slightly plain and having that gorgeous flavour to it. So I've added salt, pepper, garlic granules. I think I'll add a little bit of vinegar. If I didn't have vinegar, I'd add a lemon. There's often lemons or limes out there. I always just chuck them in the fridge because they're really great to use. So you'd add a little bit of vinegar on the top there. Give it a stir. Literally simplest soup in the world. And then the other thing that I'd add, again, you get this from outside. You know, I've been telling you, grab the herb packets, fresh herb packets, freeze them, and then you've got them for times like this. So I'm just going to go to my freezer. And I'm getting the basil. So what I do with mine is I literally have it in the bag, crunch it all up like that, and I'm going to put, this is one whole packet, a good half of this in my soup. So get myself about half, whack it in there, the other bunch in the freezer. Make sure you take out, you're going to laugh at this, the elastic band. Don't wipe that in your soup. Stems and all, it all goes in there. I'll just chuck this back in the freezer before it defrosts. And then all you want to do, after giving it a good mix and just letting that sit for a moment, is find your potato masher. Or if you're lucky enough to have a blender, use your blender. Careful because it's hot. If you're using one of those things, I don't know what they're called, a handheld blender, I guess. If you're using one of those, it might splash, so be careful because it will be hot. But let's give that a good mix. Oh, I literally wish I could send the smell, waft some of that smell across to you from here because it smells gorgeous. Now, if you're anything like me, you know you've got your all your veg in there and so on. I blitz it for soup, but I also love a chunky soup sometimes. You could do either. This could literally be a one-pot soup that you could have with all the vegetable chunks in there, like a minestrone. You could add some noodles in there. That would be gorgeous for a soup if you've got one of those packs of super noodles or something like that. The other thing you might want to add in is, let me see if I can find some up here. If you've got OXO or gravy granules, I think I've got them in my other cupboard. Wait for me 1 second. There you go, again, from the food bank, just some gravy granules. So I'm going to tip about 1 tablespoon's worth in there. This one's beef, well it says meat. You might want chicken ones or whatever else. We do give them away with the food bank as well. Whack those in there. And then you want to get you're either leaving it whole, in which case it's ready, or you want to get your potato masher now, or your blitzer, and get it blitzed. And this is going to be the most amazing soup for lunch. And you know what? You've got your bread out there as well. Did you know what to do with fresh bread? Don't know if you all know this. If you've got those big loaves of bread or rolls that were yesterday's bread, so they're not at their freshest, if you just get a little bit of water and pat it on the outside, and then pop it in the oven for literally 2 minutes. Oh, it comes out so fresh, like it's just been baked. So I'm going to get some rolls from yesterday, pat them with water, chuck them in the oven and pull them out when we're ready to have our soup. But first, let's get my potato masher. So this is literally your average Joe potato masher, and my job now is just to mash this up as well as I can to make it beautifully smooth and soft. Obviously you get it better blended when you've got a whizzy blender thing, but not everybody has one of those, and I wanted to show you how to make do with the stuff you've got in the kitchen. Literally a fork would do. It takes a while, but a fork would do. But this is working beautifully and getting that lovely soupy texture. Now my favourite kind of soup, but this is just down to preference now, is to stop before everything's completely mashed, because I like the odd chunk. I like the odd chunk of veg, but some people like it really smooth, or my kids like it smoother than I do. In fact, if you've got kids and they're not that keen on veg, most kids are alright with soup, especially if it's homemade, because they've got all that flavour, and they won't know what's in it, because once you've mashed it, then they have no clue, and it's one great way of making sure your kids get their 5 fruit and veg in for the day. So here we are with a almost completely mashed soup. You don't have to see me panting away all day, but I have no idea if you can even see this, but it smells amazing, looks delicious. I'm just going to heat up my rolls and I'm going to have it for my lunch. The stuff's still out there. Get yourself down here, grab yourself some sweet potatoes, grab yourself some carrots and a pepper and a few spring onions. If there's still a pack or two of one of these, this one's going to go back out there. Chuck one of these in. If you don't have those bits, you can just get inventive. Use some carrots, use a bit of potato, there's loads of sweet potato out there, and some chopped tomato. Add your flavours. If you haven't got basil, I would suggest you add something like maybe oregano if you've got it. If you haven't, the flavour from the veg is enough. Just get plenty of salt, pepper and some garlic granules in there, and it's going to be amazing. And then don't forget your gravy granules, little bit of vinegar or lemon, and it's going to taste fantastic. In fact, I'm going to show you. Let's have a look at my soup and see how it works. That is amazing. Get yourself some soup, make yourself some soup, enjoy it. Have a lovely day, guys. I'm not going to be doing something every day. I just couldn't resist the opportunity to show you how to do a soup and a casserole in one go. What could be better than that? Have a great day, everyone. Bye.